Hello, we are live on air, sort of live. This is Google Hangouts on air, brought to you by the AAFP. I want to introduce myself and Richard Bruno. We are the student and resident chairs of the National Conference. Hey, Richard.
Hey Brian, how's it going?
So we are putting together this little video because we want to help orient everybody who's going to come to the National Conference this year, which will be the greatest national conference of all time. We want people to be oriented because there is a lot of stuff that's going to be going on all at once, and we feel like it will be helpful to have some sense of what's going to be happening before you get there. So just to let you know a little bit about who we are, my name's Brian Blank. I am an incoming intern at the Duke Family Medicine Residency in North Carolina. This will be my third national conference that I've gone to, and they've been tremendously fun every year. It was very helpful for me last year as a fourth-year medical student to try and get to know some of the residencies in person. And so we're going to talk a little bit more about how to do that here shortly.
And hey, I'm Richard Bruno. I'm a third-year resident at the MedStar Franklin Square Medical Center in Baltimore, Maryland. I'm a combined family medicine and preventive medicine, so I'm also doing my preventive medicine residency at Johns Hopkins. This will be my 7th year coming to the national conference, and I swear it gets better every year, so I'm super excited about this one.
So 7th National Conference, if any of you have any questions about anything related to National Conference, you need to talk to Richard. Go flag him down at the conference. You'll see us both around. But that guy is a senior expert at this thing. So we have some slides that we'd like to show you that'll sort of help us orient you. This will be an abbreviated version of a talk that we're going to give at the beginning of the conference, but so bear with us. We're not really experts at using all these programs, but we hope that this comes across pretty well. So, sorry here. So this is us. So the conference is in Kansas City, which is where the AAFP is headquartered. It is a beautiful place. We will have a lot of fun. The conference is right downtown, so it's easy to get to a lot of the places that we're going to be. I mean, pretty much everything is compact in this one little area, and it's easier to get outside of that, but there's a lot of fun stuff to do in downtown Kansas City, so it's a fun place to be. Here's a great picture of the Family Medicine Interest Group folks who were involved with us last year. The National Conference, the way to think about how this thing is set up is there are 3 parts to the National Conference. It's almost like, I'll stop sharing my screen here, it's almost like there's 3 conferences happening at once. There is sort of a main stage session where you'll have big speakers who are big name speakers who are coming in to talk to everybody all at once, and those are really fun and usually very inspirational. And then there's some programming sort of associated with those. There are workshops that are happening and those are going to be going on the whole time. So that's one part of the conference, and we'll talk a little bit more about that in depth here. The second main part of the conference that is happening while all that's going on is there is an expo that is filled with residency programs, and these are opportunities for prospective residents, students, to talk to residency programs all at once. So there's something like 350 residency programs who are going to be there. More like 2/3 of all of the residency programs in the U.S. are going to be at this Expo Hall, so it's a chance to see them all in one place. And then there's a leadership part to the national conference, and not a lot of folks know about this, but it's one of the I think more fun and exciting things to do at the conference. So there are all these opportunities to get involved with the AAFP student and residency leadership. So we'll talk a little bit about that at the end and what that means. And I know, Richard, you probably have a lot of experience in all 3 parts of these conferences.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, going to the amazing workshops and the breakout sessions can a place to find not only like-minded folks who are interested in the same kind of issues in family medicine that you are, getting to meet tons of new faces and amazing future family docs in the Expo Hall, and then really sort of helping craft the direction that the entire academy goes in that leadership forum with resolution writing, with electing new officers to help be new leaders within the academy. It really is an amazing experience.
So we have a fun theme this year for the overall conference. So this is sort of the guiding theme. You should be able to see it on the screen now. Family Physicians, Yesterday's Foundation, Tomorrow's Future. So we're essentially trying to do three things. We're going to highlight the family medicine of yesteryear and talk about where it's going. And Richard, I don't know if you want to say anything more about that.
Yeah, that's right. We're sort of giving homage to those family docs who sort of founded our entire specialty a few decades ago. And we're also looking to try and highlight those family doctors who are doing innovative things and really bringing our specialty into the future as a true foundation of our entire healthcare system in America.
As I'm sure all of you are aware, this is an incredible time to be going into family medicine. It really is a vibrant and exciting sort of future, I think, that is happening with all the changes that we've had with the Affordable Care Act and everything. So we think that this especially, I mean, these conferences get bigger and better every year, and there's a reason why. People are excited about what's going on in family medicine. So we want to highlight a lot of that while we're at the national conference this year. So going along with that, some of the main programming, there will be sort of main stage sessions and then these workshops. So up on my screen right now, I have a picture of one of the procedural workshops. So these are going to be going on sort of throughout Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. There's a schedule that's going to be available and that you can review on the app, and we'll talk about how to get there at the end of this broadcast. But there's essentially a lot of stuff that's going to be going on. So figuring out what you want to do ahead of time can be super, super useful. So whether it's a procedure workshop or it's a global health-related workshop, I mean, these are all sort of small talks that you can dip in or dip out of however you'd like. So thinking about that ahead of time and reviewing the schedule can be super important.
That's right. Now to get into a little bit about some of the programming and some of the breakout sessions. So we have sessions that are open to all students and residents, but we have a few that are sort of catered more toward the resident side of things, and some of those sessions will include things like, maybe applying to a fellowship following your residency, putting your CV together, how to look at employment contracts and agreements, managing debt. Those are all pretty popular topics. And then we have some new topics on things like concussions, and we have sessions on direct primary care that are new this year. And a lot of these sessions will fit into 6 key focus areas, including career planning, clinical skills, health policy and advocacy, leadership development, practice management, and research. So residents, I do encourage you to schedule some time away from your Expo Hall booth to attend some of these sessions that you will, I'm sure, find very interesting.
Totally, and the students, from our perspective, the students have access to the same workshops that the residents are at. There are a few that are probably geared more towards students and would be really helpful. The ones that are usually popular, that have been super popular in previous years, include these workshops on what it's like to apply to residency. So whether that's getting everything right in the ERAS program, making sure that your resume and all that sort of stuff is in there in a way that it's easy for residencies to see, to interviewing at residencies. So there's a lot that sort of goes into this, and I'm sure you're all aware it can be a very extensive process. So going to these workshops, definitely recommend checking them out. There's going to be a few of them sort of throughout the time that we have there. So if you can manage to get one on your schedule, do try to attend one, because they can be just a helpful place to sort of bounce ideas off of folks. And I found it helpful in the past, and not just getting ideas on how to format those things or what to think of when you go into residencies, but just even meeting people from residencies. You're not limited to just talking to these folks at the Expo Hall where they're all set up. You can meet them in these sort of small group settings, and that is actually very, very helpful, because you get to meet folks in a much more organic, a much more natural sort of environment. So check those out. There'll be things, as Richard was saying, also on global health and wilderness medicine. And a lot of the programming that happens in these things has been brought to you by students and residents who are super excited every year about certain subjects, maybe less excited about others, so they sort of drive those programming decisions every year. So we're excited to see where things go this year.
That's right. We're also really excited to bring the Family Medicine for America's Health which is our new campaign for family medicine, and you're going to see things across the country as they roll out a new branding campaign for Health as Primary to highlight how family medicine really is innovative and integral to our entire healthcare system. So we have some panelists who will be speaking, including Dr. Cornwell, Dr. Sharma, Dr. Smith, Dr. Hughes that you see there, and we're very excited to have them there. We also have a few nationally recognized speakers that will be giving main stage sessions as well, including Dr. Stephen Beeson, the AAFP President, Dr. Bob Worgan, and the AAFP Family Physician of the Year, Dr. Oscar Lovelace Jr. will be speaking.
We're going to try and do something new this year, too, to try and get folks oriented to what's going on. And so that we're going to give a version of this talk on Thursday mornings, just so everybody's sort of in the loop as to what you can do and how to make the most of what's going on there. But new this year, we're going to start these things called Chattin Shoes. So Thursday at noon in the Expo Hall area, we're inviting a bunch of the different member interest groups and certain constituencies to sort of have tables set up for this hour. And so that's a place for interested groups to sort of congregate ahead of time and talk a little bit about any number of things. You know, what's going to be going on at that national conference. It's a place to maybe as leaders to sort of get together and think about resolutions that you might want to draft and bring to the business sessions. So we're excited because in the past these sort of groups have organized on their own, and so trying to formalize this a little bit we think will be more useful to the students and residents who are in attendance there. So we recommend that you get one of the lunch vouchers, which is going to be available for $20. That gets you access to lunch during the course of the whole conference. And it'll be at one of these lunches on Thursday where we'll be able to sort of congregate with these groups. And we'll have more information available on those on the website and then through the app.
Yeah, the app will be the place to get the latest on all of the various program, all the sessions. And you can also highlight and star your favorite sessions that you want to go to, and the app will remind you when those sessions are coming up, so you can make sure you don't miss a thing.
Okay, so let's see. Skipping ahead, we want to talk a little bit about some of the exciting stuff that there is to do there. There's going to be a number of social events that we definitely recommend you keep on your calendar. So the first one that we want to talk about briefly is the opening to the Expo Hall. So the Expo Hall, as we mentioned earlier, is where all of the residencies are sort of gathered in one place, and they have the opportunity there to, students can talk to residents from the program or program directors who happen to be there. You can go sort of up and down the line. Now the Expo Hall is huge. Let's see if we have some of these pictures really demonstrate, I think, how big the Expo Hall is. And so, as you can imagine, it can be overwhelming. So what I've noticed in the past, and Richard, you tell me if you've noticed this as well, there is so much to do, so much to see, so many programs to talk to. It's a good idea to have a list in your mind ahead of time of different residencies that you want to talk to. And then when you've got that list, then probably think about cutting it down in half, because it's very easy to sort of get caught up in the moment, or you get talking to some groups from one state or whatever, and then you don't get to the other folks on your list. I think in the past I had wanted to talk to maybe like 15 residencies, and I think I got so busy and my conversation sort of ran long in talking with them that I ended up probably getting to about half of those. So I didn't do as good of a job as I probably should have in pre-planning for that. So just keep that in mind. There's a lot of folks to talk to, and it can be sort of overwhelming.
And the app and the printed programs will have a map of the Expo Hall that lists all of the programs, and you can sort of chart out your course, and you can even highlight the programs you're thinking about on the app, and it will help guide you to exactly where those booths are, so you can make sure you're able to talk with the folks that you want to and explore those programs that you might have an interest in, and maybe find some programs you hadn't even heard of. Like when I was applying, I ran into the program that I'm currently in, so I found out about them while I was at the national conference, and I'm so glad I did.
Totally. So one of the other things that's going to be fun and that is worth checking out while we're there is the celebration that we're having Friday night at the historic Midland Theater in downtown Kansas City. So it's this really awesome venue that's within walking distance of the conference, and we invite a band every year. It's called the band last year is called My So-Called Band. We're going to have them back this year because they were so popular. So we've got a bigger picture here to show you. It's, as you can see, everyone is at the conference is invited to come to this, and it ends up being a really cool place to hang out and get to know some of the residents and the students on in a different venue, and sort of away from the Expo Hall or from dinner or that sort of thing. So do recommend you check this out. It's going to be Friday night at 8. Again, everyone who's coming to the conference is invited to this thing, and it's just sort of a great sort of low-key way to get to know some of these folks. So one of the things that we also wanted to talk to you guys about, there is a list on the website of questions that are useful for both students and residents in going into this. Now these are, I have it up on the screen right now, these are programs that students could ask residency programs at the national conference, and then questions from the maybe faculty and residents towards the students. So as you can imagine, there's a lot of stuff that you could potentially talk to these residency programs about. It's, you know, it's just sort of treated as like you're going to a job interview. It's not an official interview by any means, but still you're trying to get to know them, they're trying to get to know you, and all sorts of questions come up. So based on the suggestions that we've gotten from students and residents in the past, we have these lists that are available. If you go to www.aafp.org/NC, NC for National Conference, you'll be able to get a list of these on there. But do be thinking about these things ahead of time, I would say, because it can, like you said, you get to the point where you've only got limited time with folks. You want to be able to really get to the salient aspects of what you're interested in these programs for.
Great. So now I think we'll move on to the third piece of this conference, which is the Leadership Forum. And Leadership Forum is a way for students and residents to bring their ideas about how they would see not only the conference improving, but the academy in general. So we'll have resolution writing sessions on Thursday afternoon. Those resolutions will go to reference committees on Fridays, and then they will be voted on during the Saturday morning Leadership Forum sessions. So if you're interested in bringing your ideas, please feel free to write those resolutions, collaborate with others, and make sure that you're able to bring these ideas to fruition. Now, the Leadership Forum is also a place where you can run for leadership positions. And I have a list of those positions here, which you can see. There's also positions that are appointed, and those are things that you would apply for after the conference. And there's also volunteer positions that happen during the conference. So if you're interested in playing a part and a role in making our academy even better, please take a look at the descriptions of those positions on the website, aafp.org/NC.
Yeah, and just sort of dovetailing off of that, Richard and I both got involved with the AAFP through this leadership portion of the national conference. And we want you to be aware that it's happening because there's so much other stuff going on at the conference that can sort of get overlooked, which is a shame because this is really, really fun stuff that we're talking about here. And everyone who's going to the national conference is invited to be involved with this stuff. The students and leaders, students and residents. You don't have to be, you don't have to have any sort of previous experience in leadership on your state academy or even in the AAFP. You can just swing by these things and get involved. And so it can be as much or as little as you want. There are opportunities to pass resolutions, as Richard was talking about. Basically, if you're really excited about a topic, you can put together a resolution that students or residents will vote on in their prospective congresses. And then from there, based on whether or not it passes or not, students or residents, the rest of them are excited about it, then it can go on to other sort of leadership, other parts of the leadership of the AAFP. So you can sort of get certain topics that you might be excited about sort of push through the AAFP machinery, which is really, really fun. And one of the things that I came to notice in getting involved with the AAFP is it's very responsive to students and residents. I mean, we are very welcome at all levels of leadership within the Academy, and I think that the Academy really looks to students and residents because we are the future of the Academy. We're the future of family medicine, and so there has been stuff in the past that has gone through these student and residents congresses that has, become AAFP policy. So it's definitely worth checking out. They'll be on the calendar, and again, don't feel intimidated, or even if you have not been involved with leadership in the past, just be aware that you're very welcome to come to these things and make your voice heard.
Absolutely. Now, each state chapter will be sending a delegate and alternate delegate to attend these leadership forums, and those will be the ones who can vote in the elections. But any attendee can come and vote on resolutions. So if you're interested in helping shape or vote on what you think would be actual good policy for the Academy to undertake, please come and be a part of those sessions.
So the last thing that Richard and I want to talk to you about while we've got you here is the National Conference app. So we've talked about this a little bit online, and here's what it looks like. If you go to the App Store, if you've got an Apple device, or if you go to the Android thing, just basically type in National Conference AAFP 2015. It should get you right there. I believe the app itself is called NC15. But anyway, it's awesome. There is so much stuff to do on this app that going to the conference without it's just very, very difficult. So it has everything from a personalizable schedule, so you can basically look through the schedule. You can add events to your own calendar in here. You can upload a picture of yourself and basically make that available for networking purposes to other students and residents who are available. There's a section on the leadership forum where you can download resolutions and stuff that the student and resident congresses have been involved with. There's a map of the Expo Hall, which is super, super helpful. If you need to find out where a certain program is located, or you're talking to somebody there and you want to make some notes about what you saw in them, you can do all of that through the app. So you can download it now. You can get it set up. I mean, it's going to be updated continually from now until the national conference, and then even during the national conference. So take a look at it ahead of time to sort of familiarize yourself with it, because I've used it in the past and it's just been sort of a lifesaver. Because again, there's just so much stuff going on at this conference that you want to be able to be thoughtful about this going into it.
That's right. And beyond the sort of social aspect of this app, connecting with other attendees, and you can import your LinkedIn profile, and you can also access the Twitter feed, and I'm going to show you the hashtag here to use that we'll be using during national conferences, hashtag AAFPNC. So please, if you're enjoying a session, be sure and tweet about it. If you're excited about a speaker or about a resolution, please use the hashtag and let everyone else know. And we'll have Twitter feeds running and on screens throughout the conference, and let everybody know exactly what's been going on to get everyone excited.
Yeah. Those are the big things that we wanted to tell you about. You can see the Twitter hashtag that we have there, the Twitter handle, and the Facebook site. All those sorts of things have been really helpful. The thing that I've noticed really in coming to this conference a few times now is that this is a very social group of folks who are at this conference, between the students and the residents, the faculty who are there. I mean, everybody gets really excited about what's going on at this conference. And I want to say it has to be, I'm sure it is, the biggest student and resident conference like this among any specialty around the country. You get so many people packed together in this place. It's really, really fun to see the sort of excitement that this generates. And so being able to follow along, if you're into the Twitter, if you're into the Facebook, following along in those ways, it can be another fun way to do it. And so feel free to post pictures to those things, or talk about the stuff that you're excited about in the sessions.
We want to thank everybody for joining us for this hangout. We're going to have 2 more hangouts before National Conference, and we'll be recording them shortly, and we'll have links to those as well. But if you're interested more in the resolution writing part of National Conference, we're going to have a session on how to do that effectively. And then if you're interested in running for a leadership position, we'll have another hangout to talk more about what those leadership positions are about. So please join us for the other two hangouts, and have a wonderful day.
Thank you, guys. Look forward to seeing you soon.